There we go, all yours.
All right, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Christina DiMaselli. I am a technology integration specialist, and I work at the largest independent high school in the United States. It's in New Hampshire, a little bit less than an hour north of Boston. And let me share my screen. I am going to, let me see, hold on a sec. Make sure I get the right one so you don't get all the weird stuff. There we go. Okay. And you can see that I tend to share my entire screen. I don't do a presentation because I jump out a lot. I want to show you different things. My cohort was LAX 18, and I'm going to talk about driving professional learning. And I thought that I'd start off with the change in vocabulary, the change in direction that we're going, moving from professional development as a phrase, which is something that happens to teachers. A lot of times, those one time workshops, the one hit wonders, very structured type of thing, the one size fits all approach, is kind of morphing into this idea and this mindset of professional learning, which, when designed well, is interactive, it's sustained, it's customized to teachers' needs. Those are the things that we're really looking for, and encouraging teachers to take responsibility for their own learning and to practice what they are learning in their own teaching contexts. So the exciting thing for me is that professional learning means that it happens anywhere, anytime. It can be big, it can be small. It doesn't have to be that really structured stuff anymore. It can be really little things. Anytime I can get a little piece of information to somebody or a spark of an idea that they can run with, I get excited about it. So as we go through this presentation and the slides, a lot of these things are clickable. I don't like to gatekeep, so that means that anything that I can share, I do share with you. And I encourage you to, you can use it as it is, you can remix it, make it into something better, which is exciting too. And if you do that, I'd love to know what you do with it because there's always somewhere better that something can go to. So what I'm going to do is share what I've done over the past 16, 18 months. And the reason I picked this time frame is because of the really crazy wild events that we've been through in that time frame. It has really also been a driver for innovation, and not just a driver for innovation, but also meaning that that innovation is accepted, and that can create time for real change, which is really cool. So we're going to go through a few of these things, and I'm just going to show you what I've done during some of these time frames, and hopefully spark some ideas in you, and give you some ideas of things that you could do. So summer 2020. For the most part, everybody shut down in mid-March of 2020, and then we all went into this remote teaching, hybrid type of teaching, a few different permutations of that. When summer hit, my school usually does a summer institute for teachers, which means it's a couple of days of sessions and workshops, and there's grant money that allows them to get paid to go. We couldn't do any in-person training. So instead, what I did was this choice board, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like here. So this is based on a Slides Mania template, and these were kind of the pillars that we were looking at to try to support the teachers and their educational environments. We didn't know what fall was going to look like and the opening of school, so we were trying to get ready for whatever. And you can see that there are a lot of different kind of different lessons underneath each one of these, and they could go to the lessons and work through them. And then there was always a reflection and an artifact idea documents that they could utilize as well. So this was that very much that interactive, they're driving their own learning. They can choose, pick and choose what they needed at that time in order to get ready for fall. And then we had fall winter of 2020, which was very much a support time for me anyway, is to support the virtual and hybrid learning that we were doing at that time. So for me, again, it's that little, sometimes it's those little things, right? So I did what's called this one cool thing. I still do that now. It's weekly ish, and I send out one topic weekly, and I choose my audience very thoughtfully. So I don't spread this out to everybody all at once because I do want them to know if they're getting an email from me that it's of value to them. I work in a high school. They're very content driven teachers. So it has to be chosen thoughtfully for them, timely. I always add a visual or a GIF or a video or something within the email, and then they're all collected in one spot, that anybody in the school can look through with a really good file naming convention. I also do things like this here. This is a let's talk about English, or let's talk about science. Let's talk about social studies. As I go through TikTok when um, I don't create anything on TikTok, but I do consume. I'll pick out ones that might have really interesting ideas, and kind of try to push a teacher's thinking a little bit by sharing those ideas with them. And then we move into spring of 2021. My school does a needs analysis, and that has a broad range of topics that they go over. And part of that, of course, is going to be technology. So when that needs analysis is done, what happens is the curriculum instruction dean and the coaches, they go through it and they decide what the pillars are going to be for training and for professional learning for the coming year. I go through it from a technology standpoint to pick out how can I use this in order to drive my part of it, but also how can I use it to reach out, because it's a lot of this is about relationships. So I will throw out things like this visual you have here. I try to keep any emails very visual. I don't have a lot of text to them. I'll use bullet lists, things like that, because nobody's going to read through a lot. And if they already are a little bit anxious about technology, and I want to get past that. So Canva, of course, has free accounts for educators. So utilize that, and make things like this. This was just a template that was already there in Canva, and I just put my words on it. And then I put that out in an email to everybody at the beginning of the school year. You know, you've got EdTech goals, you have support. And I'll get a handful of people that will respond because of that email. I'll also go through the needs analysis and pull out comments that were specific for technology and say something, at the end of last year, there was a needs analysis survey done. You indicated that technology was one of your top 3 priorities. How might I support you with that? And I'll get a few more people that will come to me for that. So anytime that I can make those connections, we're doing okay. And moving on to summer of 2021. By this time, everybody is fried. That's it. They are done. We were still not in a position that we could do an in-person summer institute for training, but we also don't want to stop the progress. We do want to keep things moving. We do want to keep moving things forward. So this is what I came up with. This is a low stakes, very accessible type of professional learning option. And it was another, this is a Google Slides template. And I made podcast playlist and I made a video playlist. This looks fantastic on a phone. And when you click on these, it's going to bring you to um, all of these different podcasts. This is the Spark session section of it. Let's see, Innovators Mindset, George Couros, all of these. And it's a great way for the teachers, again, to have it right in front of them. They click and they can also get reflection prompts. And the reflection prompts are going to give them the opportunity to put in what they need to get credit for it in our professional learning system. We have Frontline. So this gives them some prompts and things to think about as they are getting ready to put in for credit for it. So it leads them through it. This is also really nice because this type of template we've used for other things as well. You know, you can use this professional learning, but we're also using it for example, for students, we're going to be putting one out, and each one of these little buttons, if you will, would be for an executive function template, a document for a template, so that they will have those right there. And again, because it looks so good on a phone and the kids are really used to seeing things that way, um, it it's very easy for them to access. So that'll be coming directly off of our school website. Okay, fall, winter. So this is where I'm sitting right now. So that needs survey came through, and these are the six areas that professional learning is focusing on for the next year. And of course, I support that. But when I look at what teachers want in terms of just technology, because as part of this, I'm also supposed to be providing professional learning, you know, maybe on Google Sheets or Google Keep or something like that, or any of the other products that we have. When I get into these meetings, when I get into a department meeting or a PLC or whatever, the teachers are tired and they're exhausted. And if I start to push technology really hard, their heads are going to explode. We're just in that kind of year. And I know that we're not alone in that feeling. So, what I decided to do instead was take a little bit of a step back from pushing things in the classroom, but just rebrand a little bit. And I'm doing it through a series I'm calling Digital SelfCare. And the first one is going to be about Google Drive, and it's a working session. I'm going to have anybody that's signing up for this is going to come in. I'm doing it through all of our blocks, and it's a working session. Bring your device with you, and I'm just going to show them how to organize their drive. We're going back to basics, and we're going back to things that they need in order to reduce a little bit of stress on themselves, a little bit of anxiety, so that when they're in the classroom, they can be 100% there, as opposed to thinking, when you have clutter on your desk and in your home and places like that, it can sit there and churn a little bit. And we want to get rid of some of that anxiety. So we're going to do that with Google Drive. We'll probably move on to a calendar, Gmail will probably be the next ones in the series. But it's very much a working session. They're going to come in, and I'm just going to start going through some of the very basics: naming conventions, color coding, how to deal with shared drive, things like that. And looking to the future. So I always am looking towards new ideas and new things that I can do. One of the things I'm working on right now is my EdTech lending library. I decided to get all of my books out of my own house and off of my own shelves and bring them into work. And what I've done is, and it's still a work in progress, that's why I'm not sharing it here, not the files anyway. I made myself a form that I could input everything in for like one book. When that's submitted, of course, it goes to a sheet. The sheet will even take the image, and then there's a formula that changes the image into whatever Data Studio needs, and then it gets pushed out to Data Studio. And then people are going to be able to look through all of the books on Data Studio. There'll be another page on that dashboard that will have a form where they can request the book to be either picked up by them in my office or to be sent through interoffice mail. So we'll see how that goes. But again, this is giving them the ability to take control. If it's something that they're really interested in, or maybe they've seen that book before, but they're not sure if they want to pick it up for themselves, this gives them a chance to get their hands on it. A couple of the other ones that are here, the email drip series. I love the idea of just, those little email bits and pieces that come to you over a period of time. We're looking at doing that when people sign up for like that 6-week cohort series that was mentioned in the slide before this. When you sign up for that, we're going to put on there, you're also signing up for the email drip series for that. and for that particular topic. So, maybe after each session, they'll get an email in a couple of days that will remind them of something or give them an idea to try. It's part of that being sustained in learning as opposed to that one and done. We really want to keep that information moving. This Insta EdTech, I'd like to do an Instagram account that has some of these tips and tricks for our staff, which is twofold in goals, in that not only does it get tips out there, but I'd like for them, especially as high school teachers, to get a little bit more comfortable with using social media. And then I've got the 12 days of Techmas here. And I've done this for the past couple of years. I've got 2019 here and 2020. And 2019 was Christmas vacation style. 2020 was a TikTok Techmas. And this year I'm doing the Grinch versus Buddy the Elf. What team are you? And what that looks like is something like this. Every day for the 12 school days leading up to winter break, they get an email that reminds them you have a gift. So if they click any one of these days, and I parse these out, they go out every day. I add on to it, and they click their gift there, and they get something to take a look at. It might be something that's hopefully inspirational, or it might be something that's a little tip or trick like this. So that's what the 12 days of Techmas are. And like I said, those are all the folders are there for you to take a look at and remix, do whatever you like with them. Maybe you can do something cooler than I did. The last thing here is an exit ticket. And this is one that I'm hoping you will participate in. So this exit ticket, again, we want to sustain the learning. We want to bring it past. We only have, 20 short minutes here. We want to bring it out further. So this exit ticket will gather a little bit of information from you. And again, I'm only going to use it for these activities. I don't use it for anything else. And you get the usual certificate. I've got Autocrat that's going to run in the background and it's going to throw a certificate and get it to you. But then in a couple of weeks, you'll be invited to continue the conversation because we want to crowdsource our ideas. There's a lot more going on out there than just the few things that I've shown you. And it would be really nice for us to find a place to collect these. So again, trying to do that continuation and that interaction piece of professional learning. We'll do that in a couple of weeks. And then towards the beginning of December, the last one will be care, where you'll receive a message of care and support relating to the discussions that we're having and what's going on. So hopefully you'll be able to participate in that, and we can continue on with what we're doing. And that is it in a nutshell. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or would like to add anything to it, or if you're doing something really cool yourself, I'd love to hear it. So we've got 2 minutes. Amazed by my energy, which is funny because it's 11 o'clock at night here. But I really enjoy being able to talk about the professional learning. There's so many cool things to do. So take the resources and, like I said, use them as is. If you just need to plug and play something and something appeals to you, have at it. Or if you want to remix something and do something cool. We're we're a primary teacher. I've worked with pre-K through 12. I've worked with everybody. Yes. Where is the resource? Let me see. Let me grab that. Let me grab that for you because it is a bit.ly. And I'll throw that into the chat for you. Too many tabs open. Can't find it. There we go. And that has links to everything. Secondary teachers need to be more fun. Absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a lovely day, a lovely evening, wherever you are, and go out there and do cool stuff.